All right, I think we are live and ready to go. Welcome guys, good morning, and let's get ready to review the watch list. I made quite a bit of changes yesterday to my TD Ameritrade because every time there is every time you have a loss, that really means there's a good lesson. There's something that you can be learning. And what I learned yesterday, and you guys helped me learn yesterday as well, is the fact that I was too quick and I wasn't looking at the larger time frame. So let's go ahead and check out some of the quick changes before we dive into the watch list, and it's going to kind of all make sense to you guys anyway. Second screen, let me quickly share my screen. Well, I'm kind of like not even centered on frame, but I'll try to sit more over here. Well, I'm like a large penguin. That's what I feel like on this screen. It's pretty cold, so I like to keep the windows open. Good morning, Angel. Let's dive right into things. Okay, so here you can see I have a new 5-minute chart, and it kind of gives me a nice little perspective of what's going on, more on a not necessarily intraday level, such as up in here. This is the 1-minute chart, but kind of one step back. So I'll hopefully be able to see some larger patterns forming here before I enter this trade. And then here I have the daily chart, which also gives me a bit more perspective what's going on in the long term. And just to kind of put this in perspective a little bit, EROS, which we traded yesterday, here's what it kind of looks like. And I think this definitely would have helped me take a big step back. And here's why. So I'm scrolling back quickly. And then if I just kind of even just scroll in one little notch over here, I think it's a good sign. So when we were trading EROS yesterday, we kind of, or at least I did, I saw it on my scanner. It popped up pretty quickly. I entered the trade also extremely quickly without really thinking it through properly. And I should have been checking the 5-minute chart. And what I had before was I had the 5-minute chart over here, which isn't always super convenient because I have to switch tabs, right? So I didn't switch tabs and I kind of just went for it. But now that I have the 5-minute tab over here, you can see that there was a big spike to the upside, but it's really just a wick to the upside, right? And that really indicates a failed breakout. So I was basically buying on the way down of a failed breakout, which is really just not okay. And I wasn't really aware of that because on the 1 minute, it still looked kind of good and I wasn't really able to identify that. So that was a big takeaway. I should go ahead and modify my charts a little bit so I have more of a whole picture at all times. So that's really what's going on over here. And then I still have the level 2, and then I have also some news because I think that's always interesting to quickly see what's going on. I also did one more edit and you can see it right here. So I also have a share count right here, and the share count is the closest thing on TD Ameritrade from what I have found so far that I can get to the float. So obviously the shares do not represent the float, but I found that they are kind of close. For example, MBRX, which we are looking at today, I noticed that the float was 45 million, or the shares were 45 million. And if we look up the float, I think it was about 39 million MBRX, 39.3 million. So not, perfect, but it gives you a good idea of what the float will be. So you could probably go on average, I would say safely, kind of take 10% of whatever the shares are, maybe even 20%, and just be like, okay, subtract that from the shares, and then you'll probably get the float. And yeah, so this is 45 million shares and then 39 million float. So now we have a good idea. We know what the market cap is. We know what kind of float they have roughly. We know their dollar volume, and this will give us a good idea how much these things will run in the morning. So that's kind of some of the edits I made. One more, actually, there's one more edit I made. I was kind of busy yesterday trying to figure out where I went wrong yesterday. Let me just get a little readjusted over here. So I made another edit. So yesterday, I didn't really like the fact that I was so quick to enter this position. And it's because I wasn't really ready for some of these morning gap ups. I didn't really know if it was gapping up. So this was something that's been on my kind of to-do list for a few weeks. I watched some videos on it. but I just haven't really pulled the trigger on it. And that was customizing my scanner, so it also searched for gap ups. The reason it took me a little bit of time because I had to deal with this study tab, which I haven't done before. But ultimately, it's fairly simple. So if you just go over here to the study and you go and look for price performance, you can say after hours percentage change, and change from the close of the previous day has been greater than 4% in after hours trading. That's including the extended hours. So what this gives me is really cleans up my scanner quite a bit, actually. You can see here that it's only showing 17. I think yesterday we were in the hundreds. I think it was below, I think it was below 300. I would have to check again in the video, but it was below 300, definitely over 100, and just way too much going on. So now we have a really clear idea. We know the market cap, we know the general float, we know the dollar volume, and these are all things that are gapping up. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty exciting because there's a lot gapping up today, and I was kind of overwhelmed right off the bat. So you got to keep in mind, you got to look for, we are looking for the ones with low float. So ideally anything under 50 million in shares. You got to remember these are shares, not floats. So this 44 million right here, JKS, for example, will probably be somewhere closer to, oh wait, not JKS. I was looking at, yeah, JKS 44. If we look that up, it'd probably be closer to, again, maybe like 39 or something like that. Let's go ahead and just review the watch list. So MBRX is one of the first ones on our list. Nice market cap, beautiful amount of shares. I mean, this is exactly what we're looking for. Dollar volume a little low, and also the price a little bit low. But you can see this thing was really gapping up. So the price right now is, I think it was in the fours. No, that was a different one. So yeah, the price right now is in this low 1 area, 1.1, and really nice rally pre-market. And let me just go ahead, and I think this was a contract winner. So in the trade to win thread where I post the morning watch list every day, I wrote right here, with big daily retest of 1.15. So this is where it was rejected already, and biotech with positive trial news. So yeah, big news on this one, running up nicely. And you could even see on the daily chart that, you know, there's big support here under the 1. And this was also a former runner. So this one could really rally hard again. And I think this is going to be one of the main ones I'm looking at today. We might have a little dip in the morning and then potentially a rally. So we might have a little red to green move or something like that. Or we might just completely dip new higher. So any buy past the 1.16 area, a nice little breakout could be really interesting. One of the things I would also be looking for is a breakout and then a bounce back to 1.16 maybe, and then acquire in that area. Right now, I just have a limit order ready to go. And we only have one trade in the cannon. So, you know, I was a little aggressive on last Friday. I did 4 trades, which is so many trades for our small account. We can, if we perfectly allocate our account, I can only make 9 trades a week. And then we did 4 trades on Friday. So boom, that kind of messed me up for this week a little bit. All right. What else are we looking at? VKTX. This was on the scanner as well. There's so many nice looking movers. I'm not gonna lie. So this one's actually having quite the dip down already. So let's see. It hit a high of 8.75. That's right around here. So it's having a hard time kind of breaking to these former highs. Let's go ahead and kind of identify this this area. Go here, and then again right in here. Big resistance in this area. It had a hard time trying to break above that, and now it's really pulling back quite hard. It's going to go ahead and identify this 7.79 area as major support. 1 second. There's 2 other ones I really want to take a look at today, and there is KERN. This is a marijuana stock with also expansion news, a lot of good news behind it. What happened was, if you look at the 5-minute chart, we had a huge rally, about 67, close to 70%, depending on where you measure from. Let me just go ahead and delete that. And yesterday we had a bit of a consolidation period. So we had this big spike up on, what day was that? That was on Friday. Then yesterday on Monday, we had a little bit pullback back to the $5. Right now, again, we're kind of at this $5 area. And I wouldn't be surprised if, today it tries to break past the former high of $6 and then maybe into $7. So let's see what happens with this one today. Right now, there's really not a lot of activity. It's kind of selling off a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the alert right here at low 5s, high 4s. All right, and then what else do we got going on here? The last one on the watch list was SAEX. This one, man, there's so much stuff moving today, you don't even know what to look at. This one's really on fire. Where do we begin? Okay, so this one broke out huge after market. So right after the market, the closing bell, that's too many words in my head, we rallied about 200%, over 200%. So from about a low of 1.06 to a high of 4.74. Huge rally. What was the news on this one again? This was, this was an oil deal. So this one, let's see right here. Oil and gas new contracts awarded. Yeah, so big award contract, and yeah, just this rally was kind of absurd. So let's just kind of scroll out a little bit on the long-term time frame. We actually traded this one earlier this year when it also had a breakout, but then it had this huge gap down about $3. And I typically don't like when these stocks have big gap downs. And right now it's back to the, it was back to the $3, got rejected. It was forming this ascending triangle, and then it kept rallying from there. So today when the market opens in just 4.5 minutes, let's see what happens, because on this chart, it's going to be, right now it's at 438. 438. So yeah, I mean, this thing is already near those former highs. So this thing could really run. I would say there's big resistance just right above it. So let's see if it can break through that. So, I mean, there's so much more to look at today, even CLVS, so many former runners taking off today. So we only have one trade. We're going to have to be really picky today. CLVS is definitely selling off a little bit. So I think SAEX is my top pick for today. And then I'm also going to be taking a hard look at MBRX as my other top pick. So let's go ahead and just SAEX. This one has such a tiny float, about a 4 million float. So out of all the ones we're looking at, this one could probably rally the most. It could also dip really hard. So this is going to be quite the opening bell. I already have a limit order on MBRX. I would love to just put one more limit order out just to have it ready, but I can't because I'm maxed out on trades on my accounts, and it's a bit unfortunate. So let's go back to SAEX. I'm not even entirely sure which one we should watch this morning, but I'll keep a close eye on all of them. I'm going to put a little alert here if we have a big morning panic. Create alert. There's two things I'm looking at. If there's a failed breakout, which there's a good chance of happening, I would like to look for some big former support to potentially buy. If there is a breakout, I'm going to be looking at the gap and go strategy. That's kind of what I was trying to do yesterday. But basically, I would like to see a move to a new high and then buy on a pullback if that's some sort of bull flag, or just a breakout bounce or something like that. So I'm actually going to be coming out with a video in the next few days about that strategy. That's going to be my main kind of focus for this challenge. All right, so now we pretty much just wait. That's really what's on my mind. I mean, there's so much else moving, but the reason, I mean, it's we just kind of have to pick one, and I really like SAEX simply because of that float. I mean, this one can really run. EROS, the one we were looking at yesterday, isn't really doing too much of anything. That was such a mess up. But, you know, we learned a lot from that, and I've changed a lot from that because as well. So, you know, it wasn't a total loss. And and again, I really like Kern. I think Kern can have a huge chance of breaking some into some new highs. So again, I'm going to put actually an alert above it as well. Above. See if it starts breaking some new highs. 40 seconds left. I mean, other than that, we're just going to be really calm. Just kind of relax. You know, if we see a good entry, we're going to go for it. If not, you know, we might not trade today. So that's also fine. And, you know, that's something I should have reminded myself yesterday. So let's just take it as chill as possible. Kind of just enjoy watching the market, see what we can learn. Ten seconds. Oops. Okay. A lot of sellers coming in. MBRX is at 1.1. Looks like the price is really holding on this one. This thing could break up past the 4.75. I think there's a really good chance. Huge amount of volume, guys. Remember, this thing has a ridiculous amount of volume. Looks like MBRX is kind of moving a little slowly. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of remove our limit order here so we can watch SAEX and be ready for it in case it does what we want it to do. Yeah, the bell sound is always really intriguing, huh? I'm not going to enter this trade yet. I'm just going to set up the right amount of shares just in case, which would be around 250. And you can see here that would give us, would be a little too much. One of my biggest issues is just dealing with a very small portfolio size, which kind of forces me to place very awkward orders all the time. So we had a little bounce off this former support area. Let's see what else it's up to. Let's see if this thing could form some sort of bottom. Huge gap up. There's going to be some major support about $3. MBRX is at 1.095. We had that limit order at 1.07. I removed it so I can just be ready to attack anything at any time. Sebastian's trading AMD like a madman. That's good for you. It's exciting news though. If we were to enter here, you can see that our position size is already completely messed up again. I think this area, it just looks like could be massive support. Any bounce in these areas are just huge. What I would look for support is maybe something closer to 3.5. If we were to enter there, yeah, it's tough. We're constantly creeping up with these tiny market orders or limit orders. Looks like we're bouncing here, 4% bounce already. This could be, you know, a green to red story. So we're going to keep following it a little bit. MBRX back at 1.1. Kern is selling off a little bit. The markets are generally up today. Bitcoin's down. Bitcoin's had a pretty bad week. I'm not going to lie, guys. This new setup, I'm really liking. Before, I felt like I didn't always have the bigger picture in mind, and now I definitely do. I can see a lot more what's going on, and it just feels really nice. Let's see if the 5 holds. If it does, I would actually really like an entry right around here. Looks like it didn't. New low. Little bounce right now. 36 was the low. $38, a lot of buyers in this area. $29. Wow, this thing is just dipping like crazy. 26 looks like might actually be the reversal spot. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get an order at 29. Move it up to 31. Might have missed this bounce, which is fine. We might have a chance to buy the breakout bounce. I'm going to go ahead and just remove our order for now. A lot of sellers still coming in. Let's check out the 1-minute chart very quickly. MBRX is at our 1.7 area. Big support here. I'm going to go be a bit more aggressive, I think. Try to get in again at 31. Looks like I was a little too early on that one. I really like the 3 support. If we go much lower than this, I'm going to have to get out of this trade. Way too early of an entry on my end. Big support on the 3. I don't know if we're going to be able to break this moving average, this EMA. There's going to be big resistance at the 59, 58. A little micro pullback here, potentially. Really small position size. Let's see if this holds. I'm going to go ahead and put my order back at 59. Enter too early on this one. It's having a really hard time breaking past that 49. 18, a lot of shares at the 49. Here we go, a little break to the upside. We might just go ahead and test the 59. Let's see if we go ahead and test it. That would definitely let us get out of this position. Just missed that exit by a few cents. Completely missed that. Ah! I'm going to close this position. Again, what? What a loss on this one. We were up perfectly. We just didn't get out in time. I don't know. Can you call that being too greedy? I don't know what you want to call that. It was only about a 6% profit at that point, but you know, I just didn't. Man, that's a tough one, guys. That's a really tough one. I'm not gonna lie, that one hurt a little bit. Yesterday, it was a dumb mistake on my end. This time, little too aggressive on the entry. And then, you know, I just didn't get out in time. It's tough because we only get that one trade a day, and we're down $100 now for the week. I think there's a really good chance that this might break to the upside as well. And we might have just needed that one more pullback. And it looks like that, you know, that could be something that we're getting now. So, you know, so close. Just not really my 2 days. It's a little stressful being in the profit like that. You know, this was a green trade. I was pushing it a little bit too hard, and then we lost it. We were up really nicely. We were up over $60, and then we took a $57 loss. So, you know what happens. But that one, I'm not gonna lie, that one was a little bit annoying. I'm surprised I should have, let's see, let's analyze this for a second. The sell-off was very aggressive, which means I should have took my profits quicker. The bounce was already overextended, and I think a lot of people understood that the 0.6 was going to be a lot of resistance. So did I, so I tried to front run it, but I missed it by, 2-3 cents. And I also did not expect for it to crash that as hard as it did and as fast as it did. Once that reversed, it was really hard to get out of that. So we got out at 3.12. Yeah, it hit 3.57. Our limit order was right there. Ooh, we were just 2 cents away from that one. Here we go for a little pop to the upside. It looks like this $3 zone is high twos, I should really say. It's looking like it's really holding. We're already down over 10% from where we got out. So I'm happy that we got out. I wish I got out quicker. And that was a really close one. I can't even really be disappointed about it. I think overall, pretty happy. I should have been more patient on the entry. I should have waited for that second crash maybe, and then bought on the way up. It was a nice bounce. A little painful way to start the week. I'm going to be traveling on Monday, so I won't be able to trade on Monday. It would be nice to end this week kind of strong. And right now, it doesn't really look like it's looking like the strongest week at the moment. But who knows? So we got 31 and 12. Let me just quickly go ahead and document that so you guys can see what it's like. Obviously, we had 300. Entry was at 3.31. So we had that loss yesterday. And then we had 3.12. Once I see the 50, I want to get out of those positions very quickly. I know we're around the 5%, max stop loss area. And so at least I'm good and consistent at cutting my losses. But again, not really what we want to be seeing. No, this was SAEX. Here it looks like the 2.8 might be that bounce zone. I think we're finally finding that big support. I would love to be getting into this trade right now. If I had 2 trades today, this would be my second trade. Guaranteed. Selling pressure, 100% slowing down here at the 2.8. I probably would have waited for maybe some sort of bounce back to the upside. Maybe break here. I would have maybe entered at 2.95. So we would be long right now. We'd probably be up maybe 2%, 3% right now. And this would be the profitable trade today. This would be the profitable trade right here. Or not, maybe not, maybe this thing gets crushed again, but I think this is what my second trade would be. So it's kind of interesting to watch. Having a really hard time breaking out. I would probably be selling anything into the 3.2s if it did reach there. That would be a really nice, you know, 5 to 10% gain. Here we go. Looking really good. Yeah. You know, I should have been more patient. This one is really looking nice now. I would be out of this trade already since that sell-off was so aggressive. But let's see. I mean, maybe I'd be wrong. Let's. Oh yeah, it looks like it might even break over the 3.2. Big buyers coming in now. Woo! Here we go. We just got in this one too early. I'd be out of this one for sure. So easy to get carried away on some of these things, but yeah, I mean, this could have been really, you know, 2 good trades today. But, you know, back to the study. This again was a failed breakout. And if you just look at the portfolio page, you can see that, oh, you know what? Let me go back to trades. This was, today's the 19th. And now it updated. So we had the $56 loss on Monday and the $57 loss today. You know, nothing really too bad. We're still profitable for this month, even though those 2 losses were pretty big because of our account size is pretty small and we haven't really been getting into much trading. But hey, we're getting consistent. We're not really losing money. I just need to tighten up my trading, and I think the profits are right around the corner, and we're going to get there soon. So what are you going to do? You know, take it one day at a time. We're not losing that much money. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the live stream up there, and the reason I'm going to do that is because, 1, we can't really make any other trades for today, and 2 is simply because I gotta get going. I got a little collaboration project with somebody here in Berlin, so I'll make sure to actually go ahead and post that in, how do you do that on YouTube? You can make posts too instead of just videos. So I'll go ahead and post that video there when it's done. So if you guys want to get that notification, make sure you guys are subscribed. If you found this content to be valuable and you enjoyed this free content, go ahead and give it a like. I would really appreciate it. So again, guys, tomorrow I will also be live streaming. I'll be starting like always around 9-10, and I am looking forward to it. I can't wait to see you guys there and just, you know, one more day in this 25K journey. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.